It looks like it says that one of them got deleted, that it's not going to the Facebook account. Is that okay?
Yes.
I'm gonna hit go live on that. It says deleted, so I have to redo it. I don't know. I'll figure it out later.
Okay. Hey there, welcome to Tech Smarter. This is where we talk with operators, innovators, and investors who are shaping the future of aging services. I am your host. My name is Abby Ritchie. I'm the tech guru at the Smarter Service. And this episode is sponsored by Leading Age Arizona. And our show today is brought to you by the Smarter Service. If you're not familiar with the Smarter Service, go ahead and check us out online. And if you have any questions, go ahead and DM me Smarter, and I'll be sure to get in touch with you. I see that we're having a little bit of trouble this morning broadcasting and streaming live to Facebook as well as LinkedIn. So what we're going to do is proceed as we are and give it our best. Today, I have with me someone who is near and dear to the Smarter Service family, and that is Tony Conaway. Tony has years of experience working in senior living. He is the Vice President of Information Technology at BHI Senior Living and oversees initiatives across 12 communities in 3 states. Welcome to Tech Smarter, Tony.
Thank you. And thank you for the gracious introduction. So my name is Elwood Anthony Conaway III. I go by Tony since I'm the third. I've been with BHI for 13 years. I've been in tech for over 30. I'm really looking forward to having this discussion and having everyone sort of understand a little bit more about how IT works in this new age, if you will.
Yes, we are so glad that you're here. Could you tell us what your relationship is with the Smarter Service and how long has the Smarter Service been a partner with BHI?
So that's a good question. So the Smarter Service, I've been looking at something along the lines of doing a tech concierge service for the better part of 3 years. And I was down the path of a couple of different companies and landed on the Smarter Service because you have an in-house presence. And I've been with Smarter Service at, I want to say, all but one of our campuses now for a little over a year. And it has been nothing but glorious. It really has. It's been fantastic for our community. Um, I really can't speak higher or highly enough, or more high, however you will. But I really do enjoy this the conversation and the partnership that I have with this organization, Smarter Service.
That is so great. And I know that within BHI, you all have shifted a lot of the paradigm in bringing the services in and creating sort of a newer role for the IT department. Because the IT department for the longest time was basically seen in most communities as the team that just keeps things running and fix the email. And that mindset naturally put IT into this cost center column on the balance sheet. I want to ask you, because you guys have mastered this, what was the biggest shift in thinking, both for you in IT and for the CEO, that finally allowed you to stop being a cost center and start being a true strategic partner?
Well, one of the things I'll always point back to when it comes to IT, we touch everything. We don't touch some things, we don't touch most things. We touch everything. And you have to look at us as more than just spending money, because every portion of our business, it's, we're touching HR, we're touching our EMR, we touch financials. We are responsible for making sure the data is both protected, it's being governed properly, and it is monitored. And so we touch everything.
100%. I've sort of experienced this silo situation as I've talked to other communities, and they have viewed tech support or tech ed for residents as an activity that you put on your calendar and it just stays right there. But that's not really what's happening. That may have been the case 5 years ago or 10 years ago. But today, like you said, technology touches everything. And it truly sends a huge message to your community about how important it is that the residents are technologically sound and safe and comfortable. And outside of just moving that organizational chart and having technology part of every department, what are one or two practical ways that the direct relationship, for instance, with the CEO has changed how you decide which tech projects get priority and funded?
I can answer this in a numerous different ways. So with tech, what we have when it comes to tech is, like I've said, we touch everything. But because we touch everything, my end game and end goal is to make sure that not only the residents but the staff are able to do their job as best they can, which then in turns helps the residents. So if the staff is doing their job optimally, they're not doing this 15 clicks. They're not a click here and a click there. They're always looking at what can we do to actually help the staff, or what can we do to help the residents. One of the bigger portions of what we do when it comes to the residents, what we have to remember is they might be an older population, but they did all this already. They were already here. We're taking what they've already built and we're just adding on to it. So that's the biggest piece we have to remember. So from technology, we really truly just have to remember that this is here to help everyone. And so that's where I can sort of lean in and say, because we touch everything, I'll call him by name, John, because we touch everything, these are areas that I think are going to help the organization do things better. And this is how, and this is why. So this is where I'm getting to the 1, 2, 3 things that we have to look at. And I can show and quantify and qualify what we're doing at every single step of this this new technology we may be using here, and here.
Interesting. I'd love to hear that. So how is it impacting your staff? You mentioned that just a bit ago. You said how important it is to bring this in for your staff, not just for your residents. Mm-hmm. How has it helped support your staff so that they can really focus on the things that they do best?
So when I'm looking at applications to help the staff, I'm looking at quantifying and qualifying every single thing that we do. So if I'm buying software that's going to cost X dollars, and the ROI really may not be there okay, it's going to do this or save that. That savings is going to be each employee will do 3 less clicks per shift, or 3 less clicks per shift, 3 less clicks per resident touch that they have to put in a chart. That's 3 less clicks times 25 nursing staff times 15 CNAs times 40 times 3 shifts per day. That's quantifiable. You can actually truly come out, and these are the things I'm actually working on with one of my data mining people that we have in my clinical staff. These are things I'm having him drill down and find that information so I can say, look, here it is. I've got the paper right here. I can show you exactly where it's saving money. It may not be in the dollars in this column here, but it's dollars from the entire column because they were able to get 25 things more done today, as opposed to it's now taken 3 weeks. Now it's taken 2 weeks. That's money. That's actual money.
I love that. I love that you're able to quantify that and track it. Even if it just comes down to clicks, it equates to dollars, and it also equates to job satisfaction. And just yesterday, I was talking with another, I think he was a CTO, and talking about, he doesn't really see the need to have this type of service in his community. And I can guarantee him that if he was tracking something like that, he would see how the staff is being corralled here and there, the wrong staff. Maybe it's the front desk staff, maybe it's perhaps the maintenance people here and there to address these clicks.
That is a very good point that you make, because I've talked to several different operators about this specifically. They said, well, they'll look and say, well, I can spend $50,000 and cover it. Well, that $50,000 isn't really $50,000. It's real closer to $80,000, because you've got other things you got to worry about. But with spending that $80,000 to do those other pieces, if that person decides to leave, you've got to spend that money again. It's not the same money, it's more money on top of that. So when you have a service like the Smarter Service coming in and doing this, I don't have to do that anymore. Now all I have to do is say, this is your job, your responsibility. Can you help us do this? Because it's not you do it, it's help us do this. And then with that, you have that same person coming in on a regular basis. You build that relationship with the residents, because let's be honest, the residents are people. They are people, and you have to meet the people where they are. So, and those are pieces that just really, they resonate with me. I'm very relational, even though sometimes I don't like people, to be honest. But I'm very relational. I have to have a relationship with someone in order to trust them. You can spend money anywhere, but I want to do it the right place in the right way.
Yeah, good point. I appreciate that. The residents are people. They have thoughts, they have feelings, they have needs. And a lot of times they have questions, and their questions have questions, and they're looking to learn and to connect. And it sounds like, and you had just referred to the person that comes into your community and works with your residents. So that is the tech concierge that's serving the residents, right?
Yes.
And what type of feedback do you get from your residents in regards to the tech concierge?
Oh, they're actually looking at that person as now this is their other grandson. This is their other grandson, their other nephew. This is another part. This is an extension of their family, because they look to this person. Oh, they're going to be here on this day. I'll go ahead and ask them this question. Or the other portion of that I really like is, if they're not there this week, I can call them.
Yeah.
Because now I've built that relationship. Now I can call that person to help me with this problem, because I trust them now, as opposed to Geek Squad, not to bring up another company, but as opposed to them, it's one of those where it's like, well, I don't know who I'm going to get. I don't know when they're going to show up. I don't know if they're even going to be able to fix the problem. There is so much more that comes with having a specific company, a specific person coming in and helping your residents with this issue. And it's relational.
And it's also a partnership, right? And so what else are you looking for besides relational support? What else are you looking for in a partner beyond the price tag? And why does this matter so much to you internally?
I'm looking to grow, not just what we have, but grow what we're trying to do. And so if I can trust the person and the company to come in and help me with this one issue, then I can trust them to take that and go here, and then take that and go here. I'm actually already in the works of trying to expand what we're outside of just, even though it's still the concierge piece, I'm looking to expand that into doing more things that I don't have to burden my staff with. When they, I want them to work on larger projects that are touching all the bits, not just the resident bits. And if I can have all these little pieces help with something as simple as, what's it called? It is our resident engagement platform.
Yep.
If I can have Smarter Service help with training, help with all those little pieces, that's only going to help the organization out as a whole.
100%. And that has so much to do with tech adoption within your community. We know from our research that the resident engagement platform is only being utilized about 10%. Yeah, 10% of the features
Mhm.
are being utilized just based on a lack of education and knowledge.
Right.
And it can do so much more. So yeah, I'm thrilled to hear that. You have been in this with the Smarter Service now for about a year. And what other things are you working on, like in terms of security and helping your residents be safer?
Well, that's another good portion there. One of the other big selling points for me was Tech Fridays. Once a month, the Smarter Service comes in and they start to help. They do classes on tech ideas and tech things and security awareness trainings with the residents, because I do that with my staff across all the campuses, but we still need to our biggest, most vulnerable population are the seniors because they're sometimes too trusting. And we have to make sure that they understand and know what's going on with a lot of these pieces that, you know, the Nigerian prince thing. That was a big one that happened. That started with letters,
Yep.
but that's just all that's evolving over time. And so we need to make sure that those people, our residents or our older generation, knows that these things are out there and what to look out for.
100%. Vita just wrote in, she had a question about, and we may have already addressed this, how your approach to partnerships and vendors is evolving as your responsibilities for infrastructure and resident support continue to grow. So what insights do you have and what can you expect?
Well, what I'm expecting is, be it the vendor or whoever I'm having help me with this, is we have to be on the same thought pattern. We have to be on the same thought pattern. So if I'm thinking about this, how can you help me get there? But then while I'm thinking about what things we need to do, are you thinking about that as well? So I want to make sure that we're on the same page, not just trying to sell me something. We need
Right.
to be thinking the same way. If we're not thinking the same way, you're just selling me something, I'm going to turn and move away. And I've done that on numerous occasions with other companies because it's in my notes. I always can go to my notes. It's one of those things where I'm looking for someone to always having my business in mind, not just theirs, because my business is the one that's paying. It's paying me, but it's also paying the vendor, the partner. So we have to make sure we're thinking about things in the right framework.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Um, what I've found is that the true innovation in senior living is about making residents' lives better, not just about cutting back on costs. And could you share a couple of examples of a tech innovation at BHI that directly came out of your IT structure?
Well, the biggest one I would honestly say is the Smarter Service. Um, I've had, I've been able to pull my staff back from helping residents. I've been able to help pull back the maintenance staff from helping residents, the nursing staff, the front desk. And by having the Smarter Service be that point, that helps the organization as a whole. Not to mention, again, those are quantifiable savings. The other piece is, for me, I've been pushing Teams integration for Teams calling. That's another big piece I'm pushing out, is the Teams for calling allows us to collaborate within a fixed set of parameters on how we're sharing our data within the organization, and without, you can text, you can chat, you can do all that stuff in this platform, whereas everyone across the organizations had Cisco UCM, we've had uh, Nextiva, we've had multiple different calling platforms. Moving the entire organization into one platform helps us to share information across all, and it's in one place.
Gotcha. How hard or easy is it for you to get these initiatives approved?
It's not always easy. It's not always easy, and it's because changing that mindset of tech is a cost center, making sure that we can always, one of the things I always try to do is if I'm spending money, I have to make sure that I always try to answer the question before it's asked in everything that I do. Always. That's just something I've learned over the numerous years of trying to of being in business, having my own businesses in the past, is asking the question or answering the question before it's asked. So when I'm looking at purchasing something, what is it? What am I trying to solve? First off, I don't want to get something just because it's new. I have to be solving a problem. And once I'm solving the problem, how is that problem? How is that helping the organization as a whole, not just my department? So when I'm looking at it, I'm always looking at it holistically. How am I saving money? How is this saving time? Because time is money in every way, shape, or form. Time is money, money is money. So I'm always looking to help the organization both save money and save time to help us move the needle forward.
Excellent, excellent. That is powerful. I want to ask you now more of a futuristic question. Looking ahead, 5 years, what's the single biggest, most exciting change that you predict in how technology will empower the lives of adults?
That's a very difficult question because there's so many things that are happening. So there's telehealth is one. Telehealth I see as a big one. But with telehealth, there is the automation in tech that's going to help with not just diagnosis, but with that diagnosis, there's also going to be some um, companionship models that are coming out of this now. And it's not just the companionship models may not always be an in-person companionship. It could just be someone to talk to. And so those AI models that are learning these types of things, and they're going to learn people. Not only are they going to learn people, they're going to learn attitudes. But the biggest piece of all of this is when AI is learning anything, it has to learn. It's only learning what you're training it to learn. And that's I commented on something earlier today in LinkedIn, and it speaks directly to good data in, good data out, bad data in, bad data out. So when you're learning things in tech, what you learn, you have to always be open-minded to not just I'm learning this, but there's all of this out here that you have to be mindful of when you're doing things. So you have to try and pull all of that data in there, and then you can extract it. Because if you're narrow-minded in your thought, you're going to get narrow-minded answers.
That's so true. That's very often that I'm using AI for one thing or another and realizing if I'm not getting the right results back, it's because I haven't been giving it the right information. And I've seen that over and over. When it comes to your residents, how do you teach them about AI? In what way do you talk about it?
Well, one of the things I always try to make sure everyone understands is when you're doing anything in AI, you want to make sure what you're putting out there is what you want it to know. You don't want it to know everything because once it's out there, and you can't pull it back. So um, if they're learning it and using it, you just want to redact any personal information that you don't want to be learned and searched on. Those are the biggest pieces that I try to get out there is redact what you don't want it to have, and you can always put in fake names or fake things to get it to give you information back. That is the most important piece for me.
Tricky. I'll keep that in mind. Okay, Tony, with just a couple minutes left, are there any other words that you can impart, words of wisdom to other uh, CIOs at senior living communities about considering the impact of having a tech concierge partner?
Again, the biggest piece for me is literally thinking about it again holistically, not just it's just a tech service. It is just a tech service, but technology is so much more than just tech. And having that extra piece, that extra layer of I have a person coming in. There's lots of companies that are offering this type of service, but they don't have a person coming in. And you need to have that piece because again, our residents are Do you want to just go ahead and send somebody out and have somebody do something without really having the trust of building that relationship with the community, building a relationship with the residents? You want to really look at that as a whole, not just, well, I'm going to go ahead and stand this up and it may or may not work and I'm just going to try it. No, you want to always look at something. Whenever I do anything, it's from a success model. It's not from a failure model. I'm always looking to see, how is this going to be successful? What questions have I not thought of? What things I want to say it was, I call him Yelling Man. I can't remember his name now.
Okay.
What are my known knowns? What are my known unknowns? Or what are my unknown unknowns? Those are things that I always look at when I'm trying to come up with solutions. I don't know all the answers, but I'm always going to look for the answers. And that is the hardest part that technologists don't get. You're not always the smartest person in the room. There's always someone smarter. You just have to be smart enough to know that you're not. And you need to be smart enough to know that I need to find someone else to help me.
100%. Thank you so much. Tony, if people want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can reach out to me via email at tconaway@bhiseniorliving.org. They can hit me up on LinkedIn. Now I believe the LinkedIn is being shared.
There you
And here we go. All of those are ways you can reach out to me. If I don't always respond. So if you hit my cell phone number, I won't answer it because my cell phone, my desk phone rings all the time. But if you shoot me an email, I will get back to you. If I don't, shoot it to me again. But I'll always reach out. I'm always willing to help. That is something I've learned. Someone gave me help, and I'm always willing to help out others. You have to be. It's as big as our world is so small. It's
It
getting
really
small.
is.
Mhm.
Okay, I think you summed up outreach and senior living perfectly. Send me an email, and if I don't reply, send me another one. So that tends to be the MO for senior living outreach.
Mhm.
I so appreciate you being here with us today. And for those of you that joined us in the chat, thank you for your comments. We really do appreciate it. And we will see you all back here next week for another episode of Tech Smarter. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.